Greetings, friend. I will show you how to solve this puzzle by choosing the right Sudoku strategy at two very important points along the solve. This puzzle is called Cascade, and it's by Chaotix. A cascade, is a series of small waterfalls that kind of flow into each other. You can see how these digits kind of flow down and flow down. Also in project management, the term's used to describe a series of decisions, and once you make the decision or complete a part of that project, it'll flow down to the next point along a project schedule. And then if you ever look at a project timeline, it looks like a cascade, similar to how you see it right here. What we're going to do in this puzzle is work our way to points where we need to complete and find a particular strategy hack, I call it, and choose between one of two choices. And hopefully by finding the best choice, we can then unleash a cascade of solved digits. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. First thing you want to look at is we can start with the threes because we have a lot of threes here, right? And so you might notice with these two threes and this three cutting across, there's only one place for a 3 here in block 8. And also with these two threes and this 3, only place for a 3 in block 1 is right there. And now with these two threes and this 3, only place for a 3 in block 3 is right here. We're just doing some basic cross hatching. And now with these two threes and these two threes, we can solve for 3 right here in block 9. And we got all the threes. The next digit we can look at is the 6s. We got quite a few 6s as well. You notice this 2 6s and this 6 means the only place for a 6 in block 9 is right there. And then with these two 6s and this 6, only place for a 6 in block 2 is right there. And then I want to point out something here that's pretty cool. You might notice that the 6s are now limited to these two spots here in block 1, right? Because of the 6s in rows 2 and 3. So what I just used is called Snyder notation. Anytime in a 3x3 block, you mark two possibilities for can. There's only two possibilities. You want to mark it. If you solve one of these, you can solve another one. But it's also going to clue us in on another way we can solve a 6 here. Because look here in rows 5 and 6. Makes the only way for 6 to be in block 4 is these two spots. And whenever you see this, where the 6s are limited to the same two columns in two blocks in a tower like this, then you know a 6 has to be there, there, or there, and there, right? Only two possibilities. And since they're limited, they got to be in those two spots in those two columns. So you can go down to that third block down here and know that a 6 cannot be in any of these cells, right? Because it has to be either here and here or here and here. Simon Anthony calls this a mini X-wing, but what I like to note is that it basically makes claiming candidates here in this other column. And since we have a 6 right here in row 8, a 6 can't be there, we could solve this cell for a 6. Another way to look at it, you could go down the entire column and go, okay, no 6, no 6, and no 6. But once I saw this, I knew I could go down here, look at these two cells, and solve for 6. So that's kind of nice little hidden signal there. All right, let's focus on the 7s. We got two 7s here, and we only have one place for 7 in block 9. All right, let's look at the 8s now. We can do a little bit of solving with the 8s. If you look here in block 7, you kind of figure out, where can an 8 go? Well, if you look across the row, very similar. One thing you might notice is with this 8 and this 8, the 8s are limited to these two spots in block 8. Okay, so it makes it a pointing pair, which means that 8s can't be in any of those spots because this 8 can't be here, so an 8's got to be in one of these two spots. There's no 8 there, so the 8 has to be right here. You could also look across the row and note that an 8 could not be in any of those three spots. Either way, it will get you to this solved 8. And now with the 9s, with these two 9s, there's only one place for a 9 in block 7. So we're making progress. The way Chaotix set up this puzzle, you do get some early solving and some early victories, as you call it, and you get some momentum, some confidence going. But we are going to get to that inflection point where we've got to make a decision, and we're getting really close to that spot. But there's a few more little tricks up Chaotix's sleeve that we want to make sure we take advantage of. First, you want to see these ones. I mean, there's only one place for one down here in block 7, and that gives us with a 2-7 naked pair. There's only 2 canons. That can be right here. Now, whenever I see buy value sells, like I say, there's a BVC alert going on. It means that this is going to clue us in to what could be some advanced strategies. All right, so we're going to come back and explore what this means to our puzzle here a little bit later. But we can actually make a few more solves if we just look at certain parts of this puzzle. So let's go up here across row 3. Where can a 9 be? All right, can't be here because of this 9. And it can't be here because of this 9. And it can't be here because of this 9. So we can solve this cell for a 9. And there's only two possibilities for the 9 here in block 2. Okay, great. And now by solving that 9, what you might notice is you got this 8, no 8's there. Got this 8, no 8 there. We can solve this cell now for an 8. All right, so we create some restrictions there. Looking good. Now, after we do that, let's look here in block 5. Okay, you got this 8 and this 8. We have 2 possibilities for an 8 right here. Okay, great. And with these 2 8s, you have 2 possibilities for an 8 right here. All right, does this look familiar? Same thing with the 6s. We have another mini X-wing, which means the 8s have got to be somewhere in rows 5 and 6 here in block 4 and in block 6. So that means the 8 in block 5 cannot be in any of these spots. It has to be one of these 2. So this is called a claiming pair. When claiming pair means that the 8s are limited because it's the only place along row 4 where the 8s can be. And if you're not that familiar with terms like claiming pair and Snyder notation and naked pairs, the terms I'm using, check out the pinned comment. Download my free Sudoku solving guide. I explain it all to you, and I give you diagrams to check your knowledge and videos that'll help you get better at this. And while you're at it, check out my Buy Me a Coffee page. I get additional content there. I put out notes to my fans, and it's a way for you to support me and the Smart Hobbies channel. Okay, let's also look at the 9s. So you got these 2 9s. Only 2 possibilities for a 9 in block 4 is right there. And then with these 2 9s, only possibilities for a 9 in block 6 is right there. So hopefully, and I'll color these up. It might be a little hard to see. The 9s are limited to the same 2 rows, rows 4 and 5 in column blocks 4 and 6. So we know now 9's got to be there and there, or there and there. Another mini X-wing. I love how KX put a bunch of these into this puzzle, and what it does is it limits us to 9s in this spot here. So another claiming pair of 9s. And so basically, the 9s are in these 2 spots. They can't be in any of these 4 squares, and then the 8s will be in these spots and can't be in any of these 4. All right? So let's get rid of that color, because we're going to get to the part now where we need to look for that first inflection point, I call it. The first time we got to figure out which strategy is the best. When you get to this part and you can't really make out any more solves, you're going to look for advanced strategies. You can start by filling out some columns. And so 2 of these columns, columns 1 and column 3, they have 5 candidates there, so we can fill out the rest. Because remember, I see these buy value cells. I think there might be something there that can help us. So we look here, we have in column 1, you have a 1, 3, 4, 6, 9. We need a 2, 5, 7, 8. 2, 5, 7, and an 8. So that can't be a 5 because there's a 5 already there. And then this can't be a 7 or an 8. Okay, you notice now we have 2 buy value cells, a 2, 7, and a 2, 5. And they're somewhat linked in the same column. If we can link this to another buy value cell, we may have an advanced strategy. The other thing to look at, again, is what we start here in column 3. It has a 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. We're looking for a 2, 4, 6, and 7. Okay, so we can get rid of the 2 there. We got a 6 and 7. This gives us a 2, 4. We can get rid of the 7 there. And you can get rid of the 4, 6. I can actually get rid of this 4 as well. So look, we got more buy value cells. Okay, this is very interesting. If we can pair this up with something or this, we might be able to get a solve here. So we'll look right here. What could be in these two cells? This might give us the key to what we're looking for. All right. It looks like we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. So this could be a 5, 6, 7. That's 3 values. Not really going to help us. We go right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. This can be a 5 or 7. Okay. Now we have enough here for an advanced strategy. And so this is the inflection point. It all depends on what you see first. If you filled out column 1 first and then started looking here, you might notice that this cell, this 2, 5, happens to see these two cells, the 2, 7 and the 5, 7. And if this is a 2, that'd be a 7. If this is a 5, that'd be a 7. This forms an XY wing. Nice, awesome. And we can remove any 7 that sees both the blue cells. So we can move a 7 from there. If you didn't see that, maybe you saw these two cells. If you see these two cells, you'll notice that they're both a 2 and a 7. And if you look up here, you'll notice that only a 7 can be in this column up here in block 1. So either what we know is this actually forms a form of W wing. What we know is both of these cells cannot contain a 2, because if they both contain a 2, then a 2 couldn't be here, a 2 couldn't be here, and you have no place to put a 2 here. Since a 7 could be here, we know one of these has to be a 7 actually, and we can remove a 7 from any cell that sees both. So you can remove the 7s here, and you notice that the only place left for 7 would be right here. So I'm curious, if you solve this puzzle, let me know which one of these strategies you found. Did you find the XY wing, or did you find the W wing first? What I'm going to do and finish the solving is I'm going to go with the XY wing. That's what I found first, and my suggestion is when you get to this inflection point, first recommendation, just go with the thing you found first. You know, you don't need to do additional adding. If I started in column 1 and I started looking for something to match up here, I would just go with the XY wing. So I'm going to put all in there, and remember, one of these blue cells has to contain a 7, so we can eliminate a 7 from here and from here. Check out this tutorial if you want to learn more about XY wings. What we can do now is solve this cell for a 2, and we can solve that for a 7. And so now the cascade comes forward, and our first inflection point is released. And so we're cascading down to more solved digits. But we're not done. I said there's a second point. You'll get stuck unless you find this. Okay, after putting in the 7, we can remove the 7s from that spot. All right, and so we got some more solving here. And you're like, okay, Timberlake, what does that do for us? Well, it did a little bit, but we're not going to get too much more solving done just yet. And so what I need to do is show you where this last trick is. And what I'd want to do is I actually need to focus here. Remember how we got rid of some candidates in this block? That's going to help us out. So we have a 2, 3, 6, and a 9 here in column 6. What's left? A 1, 4, 5. Well, yeah, 1, 4, 5, 7, 8. It seems like a lot, but there's actually not as much going in this column as you think, because we have a lot of restrictions from the rows cutting across. So you got a 1, 5, 7 here. We can get rid of all that. 1, 5, 7. And then here, because of these 8's claiming pair and the 5, you can get rid of the 5 and the 8. And then right here, you got a 1 and a 7 and a 5 in that cell. And then up here, it looks like 1, 7, 8. And then you go up here, we already have an 8 in the block. Okay, hopefully you notice what we have right here. 4 and 8 are limited in the column 6 to the same two candidates. So you got a 4 and 8 here, 4 and 8 here. So that means the 4 and 8 have to be in those two cells. This is a naked pair, basic naked pair. We can eliminate every other 4 and 8 from this column. This is great. And this is the easier of the two strategies that we would need. And because now you can eliminate a 4 from here, a 4 from here, which is huge, and a 4 from there. And what you'll notice is we're going to be able to make a solve here. Okay, the other strategy that will help you at this point. It's not in using these cells. It's actually going to be a finned X-wing. Finned X-wing is a little bit harder to find than a naked pair. I'll give you a hint. It involves the 7s. So if you found the finned X-wing, the like button, let me know. Try to share this with somebody. See if they can solve it and what strategies they use. I'd appreciate it. I'd love to hear how it went for you. But I'm just going to show you this naked pair and we're going to move on. Okay, do that. Clear out the colors there. I'm out of color mode, which is huge for me. And now we can solve that for a 5. Solve this for a 2, solve this for a 4. We can remove the 5 from up here. And we're going to kind of get into some more solving here. We're not done. We still got plenty of digits to fill out. Hopefully the Snyder notation is going to help us the rest of the way. All right, did we get a cascade of solved digits from that strategy of the naked pair? Let's see. Okay, I got everything here in column 1. Next thing I want to look at is now this 8 displaces the Snyder, I call it. So now an 8 can't be there. We know we can solve this cell immediately for an 8. Awesome. And let's look what can be in this cell, right? It can't be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or a 9. This has to be a 1. It's a naked single 1. Okay, after solving this one, you can see now the 1s are limited to these 2 cells in block 3. So it makes a pointing pair. 1s can't be anywhere else along row, column 9 now, all right? So with that pointing pair and this one cutting across, we can actually solve for a 1 right here. And then we can solve for a 1 here and solve for the 2 there. Because of these 2 1s, we can make all those solves, which is going to allow us to solve for a 4 right here, solve this for an 8, and solve this cell now for a 2. And with this 8, we can figure out our naked pair and displace that Snyder 8, so we can make that solve for the 8 as well. Awesome. And then what do we have down here? It looks like a 4 and a 7. I'll just mark it, but we'll get back and we'll get that solving in quite quickly. All right, other things, we got a full house right here. So looking for a 2 to finish column 8. And then what else do we have left here? It looks like we got 4 and a 5 here. I got my 4 here. So there's your 5 and there's your 4. Nice. And with these 2 4s, this has to be a 4 now. Awesome. And now we can solve this 7 and the 4. Looking good. Okay. With 4s, this is now a 1 5 it looks like. And then this would be a 4 and a 9. Well, that 4 is going to help us out again because here's your 4, here's your 9. You remember that 9 part of this mini X-wing. So we know we can displace the Snyder 9 there, solve this for a 9. Awesome. And now we got, it looks like a 2 6. I got my 2 here. So here's your 6, here's your 2. And then you're going to be a 7 right there. And I just want to clean up all these digits best I can. With this 6, you know, this is going to be your 5, that's going to be your 7. And here's going to be your 6 for block 1. Awesome. And now it looks like, because I have a 7 here, this has to be your 7, only place in row 1, which means this is going to be a 1, and this is going to be your 5. Nice. All right. I don't see a 1 up here in block 2, but I got a 1 there. So there's your 1, and there's your 9. Displacing the Snyder 9, we can solve for the 9 here because of the 7. This is going to be your 1. We got 2 digits left, right? It looks like we need a 2 and we need a 7. I got my 7 there. Here's 7. Last digit is a 2. Want to solve another fun puzzle by Chaotix? Then check out this video. Thank you so much, Chaotix, for letting me feature puzzles on this channel, and thank you so much for watching.